Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Chrissy, and today I'm painting a medieval cathedral. I like old structures and buildings that go way back, so I thought this was quite interesting to do. I'm working on an A4 canvas. As you see here, I'm just doing the window, and I'm just using some dark blue and a bit of mixing white and purple just to get a misty feel to it. I'm just flicking on a few bits of paint there, as you saw before. Had some light little stars, but you don't see most of it, but I just wanted that nice little bright spot in the top right hand corner. So obviously I've let that dry. I've got my drawing on, which took me a while, but there you go. It was interesting to do. Enjoyed it. I'm just filling in the dark areas with really dark blue, some indigo blue and a tiny little bit of purple mixed in to get that really nice dark value. You could also use black if you wanted to do, but I like to mix and just get a really dark value sometimes. Not that I don't use black, I do use black, but in this case I didn't. So I'm just doing the window ledge there and then move on to all the stonework. And this isn't a perfect drawing because I didn't want it all the lines straight because it's a really old cathedral. You know, there's chunks missing out, the stonework, so forth. Obviously it goes way back. We have a lot of these still in England, obviously. We have some really nice old buildings, historic buildings. And I thought this was really nice to do, so here we go. So I'm using the same blue. I'm using a 1/4" angle brush just to get it all blocked in. I've got my paint quite fluid, so I've just added some glazing medium to that, but you can add water just to make it nice and fluid so it comes off your brush fairly easily. So I'm not doing a thick layer, sorry, it's just a nice thin layer to start with. I'm doing some wetting to wet, but most of it I'm letting it dry, then coming back in. And I'll darken some more values if they need darkening and so forth. So I'm just following my line work that I've drawn in, and I've got a bit of a reference. I'm just following that as well, because references always help when you're doing art, obviously, because it makes your life a lot easier. I mean, it's great to make things up, don't get me wrong, but to get things in perspective and the colours and that, it's nice to just have a little bit of a reference. I wanted to capture with this as well, you're looking down the hallway, because they're going to be stone flags on the floor, and I wanted the window to be the actual eye-catching piece that you're going to walk down this really cold corridor and it's all deserted and said there's only you there, to make it a little bit spooky, like, you know what I mean? Not scary spooky, but fun spooky. And you're attracted to this nice glow through the window and you just want to get there and sit on that little ledge and just look out that window. So that was the feeling I got when I was actually painting this. Because it's nice to share your thoughts when you, especially with artists, people ask sometimes, what was your thought process? So it's nice just to explain sometimes what you were actually thinking when you were painting a certain subject. Because we all have different feelings when we're painting stuff, and I think you paint as well what you're in the mood for. So that's another reason as well, you know what I mean? That you want to paint something happy or something mysterious or whatever the case may be. So as you can see now, because it's a nice dark value surrounding it, it's drawing your eye down right to the centre there, but I'm putting some little lanterns here, but I'm not going to make them really bright glowing. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a glow for that reason, because you don't want to take the attention off the actual window itself. So by putting something really bright at either side of it, your eye's going to be drawn to that and not the actual focus point that you were trying to get across. So here I'm just using some phthalo blue with a tiny little bit of white, just to add that bit of a glow of highlights, because there's a bit of light shining through obviously, but I still want to keep it nice low key. I don't want anything too bright standing out. So I'm aware of that when I'm painting along, you know what I mean? But if you do, you can always come back, paint it out, or put a glaze over things, which I do quite often. If I get a value too bright, I'll just let it dry. I don't bother painting it out. And I just put a darker value of a glaze over the top. I just find that a bit easier for me anyway. So I've gone a bit light around the windows because obviously it's catching a bit of light and reflecting some off that stonework here. So there's not much detail in this. It's pretty much dry brushing. I'm just putting a bit of detail on the sides of the stones there near the window. And the main detail's actually in the flags. So it's pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? It's just keep adding and building up your layers and your tones. So I've gone for a more purple tone there to put on the actual stones itself, just as that layer, but you can still see the dark underneath, which I wanted to leave in because I'll just build it up gradually. I'm just fiddling away, just getting some more dark values in. I'm just using a little tiny filbert brush here just to get the darker shades in that we're looking for, because sometimes you paint over stuff, so you have to come back in and just adjust what you needed to adjust on your value side. Like there on that left side of the actual pillars, and on the right side I'm just darkening some more areas. I'm putting a tiny little bit of detail in just to give the impression like the stones, you know what I mean, them pillows, them stone pillars. I move to my detail brush just to get these little lanterns in. And like I said before, if you did go too bright, just let it dry and give it a glaze with a darker colour. And I think adding the window in, it really draws your eye to that actual light spot, because your eye is going to go to a light spot automatically. And then the next thing it's going to see is a really dark shadow or a dark section in your painting. So if you keep everything harmonised, you know, and just focus on the actual image itself that you want people to look at, and make sure nothing's too dark surrounding it or too light, and I think you'll have a happy medium. I'm just straightening some edges up. Now you can see I've just glazed over them archways there because they were too bright, so I've just gone back in and glazed them again. I'm straightening up some of that because it's not perfectly straight because they're old buildings, you know what I mean, and nothing were built perfect anyway. I think I captured the essence of that, and I think it really looks authentic and organic and really cool. I really enjoyed painting this. Just putting a bit more light there. I'm just putting some light rays coming in, so I've got a thin layer of paint on my brush of white. So I didn't want a harsh reaction. I didn't want some bright beams coming through. So I just did it subtly. I hope you enjoyed this, guys, and thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. On screen now are 2 videos you may like to watch, and if you're not already subscribed, click on my face and be sure to click the icon bell to get a notification. As always, thanks for watching and create something wonderful. See you all soon on my next video.